All-Stars 125 was Mike's last at the Nashville Motor Raceway. The current track champion is retiring after this season. He was the fastest qualifier in the race, started 8th in an inverted field, and it didn't take long for things to stack up. In turn 1 on lap 1, a spin and then a big pileup, including Mike and about 10 other cars over in turn 2. Gary Bradbury in car 78 was the winner. Mike dropped out about 75 laps in with engine problems. It was his last race in Nashville. He will race one more in Pensacola, the track he had that tragic crash at 4 years ago.
I'd hate to quit and not maybe go back and fight those demons again. So I need to go back. I need to go back for myself more than anything else to get back on, and that way I can end in a good way.
They also ran a 125 lapper for the late model stocks. Jeremy Mayfield beat Sterling Marlin, Jeff Green, Chris Cook, and Mark Day, the top 5. The NASCAR season will end next Sunday at Atlanta. The Grand National Circuit season came to a wild conclusion at Hickory, North Carolina. Joe Nemechek in car 87 was the points leader, gets bumped here by Jimmy Spencer and sent into the wall. Spencer was thrown out of the race by NASCAR officials for his reckless driving. Bobby Labonte won the race, but Nemechek wins the point championship by a slim 3 points over Bobby Labonte. Well, soccer and...
The longtime operator of the raceway and its builder, perhaps the key figure during Nashville's Winston Cup days. The mayor proclaiming it Bill Donahoe Day in Nashville. And Sterling Marlin, who carved out his own niche as track champ in the early 80s, finishes second behind the winner Jeremy Mayfield in the late model 125. Another former track king, Mike Alexander, in car 84, making his final run on the raceway. Alexander ends up a disappointing 32nd after crashing in this multi-car melee on lap 75. Now, Gary Bradbury in the number 78 takes the checkered flag just ahead of Mike Oliver. And in Grand National Racing in the Pantry 300, Bobby Labonte the winner, Butch Miller second, Joe Nemechek sixth, but Nemechek wins by a narrow 3-point margin for the points championship. Todd Bodine ends up third. I'll be back with college football and
Marlin, Darrell Waltrip, and Bobby Hamilton. The man who brought them here was honored today at the track that he ran for over 40 years. Bill Donohue was thanked for the contributions he's made to Middle Tennessee racing since back in World War II. The race that followed Donahoe's ceremony was World War III. Southern All-Star 125, the largest field they'd ever had there, and I guess they had too many cars because they had to restart the race, had a wreck on the very first lap. So when they restarted it and got that mess cleaned up, coming around in the lead was Eddie Mercer from Florida. He was the pole sitter, and he led until that point right there when he spun out. And coming around to take the lead and the checkered flag, Gary Bradbury for the win. Let me show you the final results from the final race of the season out there at Nashville. Bradbury first, Darrell Sage of Brentwood finished 13th. Jeff Purvis, by the way, was knocked out of that race after only 6 laps. The late model, they finished just the way they started. Jeremy was on the pole, Sterling was second, and that's how it ended up. Mark Day of Clarksville finished 5th.